final session. We'll be having conversations that is also very critical to the development of grassroots governance. And to do that with me today, first on the list is the Executive Director of the Electoral College Nigeria. Please let us welcome Mr. Kunle Lawal to the podium. Okay, secondly, to join us here is the Chief Operating Officer of SEMICOLON. Please let's welcome Ms. Ashley Immanuel. And also the last but not in any way the least was a man I heard a bit from last year because he was also present at last year's NICSA. Please let us welcome Mr. Tolani Ojuri, the Chairman of Albinism Association, Lagos State Chapter. A round of applause for him as he comes. All right, so also joining them seated right beside them to facilitate this conversation. Please put your hands together for me. All right. Thank you. It's good to see you, Mom. It's good to see you, Cyrus. Okay. So we're having a conversation today around grassroots development, and we are looking at the issues surrounding grassroots development. If you all don't mind, as fantastic gentlemen that you are, can I hand over the microphone over to Ms. Ashley Immanuel to start off with her view of the issues that are already observed at the grassroots level with respect to development.
All right, thank you very much, and thank you for the organizers. It's a pleasure to be here. Really enjoyed the presentation by Dr. Abba, and I think it's been an excellent foundation for this conversation. I think, there are many challenges or many things that we have the mandate and imperative to work on, but one I think that is really most critical is human capital. So we know that, we like to say that Nigeria will soon be the third most populous country in the world in a few years. We have this tremendous potential in our vibrant and growing population. Unfortunately, we have the human capital that we have, we've persistently underinvested in. So if you look at a percentage of the budget that government does have, we've historically in Nigeria spent a lower percentage of that budget on health and education than most other countries, not only in the world, but also the region. If you look at, some of our neighbors are not necessarily wealthy countries in West Africa, but we're still not spending as significant a percentage of our budget on these critical things. Fortunately, so I think we have the imperative to really prioritize building that human capital. And this is of course at all levels of government, local government playing a critical role in understanding what the needs and potential is in those communities, and although as Dr. Abba pointed out, there are challenges in terms of authority, budget, and function. Still, there's a role for local government in the conversation, and hopefully with some reform, some increasing ability to intervene. For us at SEMICOLON, my company, we are focused on really building the future workforce in Africa, in Nigeria. And we started by addressing some gaps in talent, in particular, helping young people and other Nigerians access good quality careers while also addressing a critical gap for employers, which is tech talent. So we started with a rigorous one-year program, training software engineers. We historically have over 90% employment, now we guarantee employment. And we've trained people, some are university graduates, but some are, just today before I left the office, one of our staff who's relatively new, a senior staff member, was surprised to learn that one of who he thinks is his best engineers actually was the cleaner in our building, and noticed, started to look around and wonder, what people were doing, and ended up joining our program, becoming trained as a software engineer, and is now working as an engineer with us instead of a cleaner. So, thank you. So I think that we have an imperative to think about human capital investment, starting from first 1,000 days, and primary, secondary, tertiary, and inclusive of other maybe support for social enterprises and programs that have come in to also address those talent gaps.
Wow, thank you so much. A round of applause for her, please. Thank you so much. I would like to ask Mr. Kunle, would you say that that is the only issue we have, or are there other issues that you think we need to highlight?
Thank you very much, and it's great to have to speak here the second time. I'm sure I was not involved in the scoring of local governments because of last year. No problem, I'm not taking offense. And yeah, there are many issues, and of course, speaking after Dr. Joaba, who's I look up to, now trying to explain and look at these issues. Critically, I think the first problem with local government is we do not take it important, and it's a culture. So Nigeria practices a culture of politics. Now, culture is defined as a way of life. So we have the culture, the beyond what the norm should be. So if, let's say you look at elections, you see elections is poor, about a 28% percentage by participation in elections. And when you get to State House of Assembly, it drops to about 20%. And when you get to Lagos, no, not Lagos, when you get to local government, it drops below 7%. That's how bad it is. We don't care. The average young person wants to go for an office. It's never local government. It's never a councillor's office. So we first have a cultural problem with how we view local governments. Secondly, most Nigerians are unaware. I know Dr. Joaba gave some figures, but I think in 2024, Nigeria spent 3.23 trillion on local government alone in FAC allocation. Averagely, let me break that basic, simple English. There's no local government in Nigeria, no matter how bad, sad, messed up it is, that earns less than 250 million naira a month in FAC allocation. If you don't care about that, then that means we are not yet ready for where Nigeria's problem is, and we're not ready to move forward. That's a serious problem. It's critical to note that also within local government, because of this abandonment culture which we have of it, the councillors are supposed to be the legislative arm of the local government. They are supposed to make some laws. So the Constitution says make some laws. We don't know why it's some. But of course, they must not be contradictory to the to what the National Assembly is doing, or the Constitution. We have people in Nigeria that call themselves speaker, because they're supposed to have a leader, just like you have a speaker in the House of Rep. So you have a speaker. I don't know. I'm yet to see laws that they make. I think they term themselves speaker because their brothers are longer or something. Because I really don't know what exactly they do that makes them speaker. And trust me, I move around Nigeria. So I would say Lagos is a little advanced. But when everybody says Lagos is a little advanced, I always say, why is Lagos comparing itself to Zamfara? Lagos should be comparing itself to Singapore. So the Lagos, don't take any credit. I'm comparing you to Singapore, I'm comparing you to the UK. And I don't see that. So Lagos, don't worry, I don't leave you wrong. Of course, I thought there are a few problems for me. Electorally, we do not consider it. Our culture doesn't look at local government. With the new autonomy, which, I would say, a bit part of it. And then helping with the builders in the house to take elections from state governors. But like Dr. Joaba said, we need a new constitution. All we're doing is quick fixes to try to solve the existing problem. Of course, local government has more problems. Like you mentioned the LE, I remember it reached the 80s, sir, because I was small then. So I saw the LE is functional. There was water. I used to travel a lot with my dad. There was water when you open taps, and this was local government chairman. The question I always ask Nigeria, and the question I ask you now as I drop the mic, is how were local governments more functional in a military regime than they are in a democracy? Thank you.
Well, let me pass it over to the third speaker. Sir, I needed to take a breather. All right. A round of applause for Mr. Kunle Lawal, please. Okay. Sir, would you say the same with the both of them, or you have a different perspective as to what the grassroots issues are?
Having worked with the grassroots local government for about 48 months now, I would say the problem begins with us as a citizen. Because of the lights, I can't really see the audience, but if you are not a local government representative or local government staff, if you know the name of your local government chairman and the name of your councillor representing where you live, can you raise up your hand? Your councillor, the one in office now, where you live, if you know his full name, not even where he lives now, his full name.
Doctor, please put down your hands, please.
That's the problem we have. And I've had an extended week about 2 local government chairmen, and the next they tell you that, oh, we're going to invite the police and we're going to call the police for it. Just like Tomlinson said earlier, that it's always, people don't ask questions. So when you now go there, ask questions, just like he said, 50 million allocation, that's minimum. Some really get higher, 80 or so, the ones on the island, really, really. And you now go there, ask, why is this not done? Why is that not done? And telling you where you're from, so what do you want to do, what exactly, and the last question is, what do you want? That's it. I can name local governments I've had issues with, and now you now see the local, the councillor come to you, like, why are you giving my other problems? What exactly do you want? At the state level, everybody goes to the commissioner, everybody goes to the state government, everybody knows the governor, everybody wants to see. Meanwhile, most of this problem lies with the local government. With more focus on the established community where I function, you find out that even provisions were made. We have 20 local governments in Lagos and 37 LCDAs. And they just, a lot of time, like, they just go to sleep. So the problem is, because we citizens don't ask them questions, we don't even go to local government to find out when are they even having the meeting. The councillor, when is he coming to the local, to his office, and we table our issues to him or her. As our last week or last 2 weeks, a particular party had their primaries. It's like, we all know that they don't deal for Lagos. That's more like our incoming. There are problems here and there, and everybody just, the one from my neighborhood, I've gone to him, oh, you've won. What next? He said, not as a problem. It is, I know you, I'm going to track you. And I gave instances of those I've tracked. So, like I said, the issue is with the citizens. We need to ask them. It's not that, oh, I live in this particular area, my CDA will do this, I have a gate at my street entrance, I live in an estate. That doesn't cut it. You go to other places as well. It goes beyond your CDA, no matter the level of security you have. We need to really put them to task. I always believe in people deserve the kind of government they tolerate. They can get into office through whichever means, but to really sit on them, and you'll be shocked when you even just ask them questions casually. Some of them don't even know why they are in office. They don't know. If you ask them this, they're like, oh, really? There's a provision for this, there's a provision for this, that we don't know. Then, because we don't ask them, those resources are channeled to just a few people, and they claim to represent the whole won't work. And I think that is left to us. If on the days of election, we all show up, I'm sure you will have a rethink. It goes both ways. We, the citizens, have to sit up and put these people to task. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Mr. Tolani. No, Mr. Kunle, hold the microphone because this next question is coming to you. But before I do that, I'd like to please apologize to the German consulate for keeping you behind. We hope that you are enjoying the conversations with us, and then we hope that you stay with us a bit more longer. Thank you so much. A round of applause, please, for the German delegation. Thank you so much, please. Just stay with us. Stay with us. We truly appreciate you. Okay. So, to you, sir, because you spoke about culture, that's why I'm asking you this question. What should be the direct approach towards this culture shift or this culture change? And what are, and this question is a bit direct, right? Because you are an executive director of the Electoral College. What exactly are you doing to make sure that there is this culture shift as we speak? Because it's okay for us to highlight the issues, but it is more important for us to also profile solutions to some of the issues that are highlighted.
Very good question. Now, I'm thrown on that because. Anyway, I would first say, at the Electoral College, we feel what is critical and what is most problematic in Nigeria is political illiteracy. We put political illiteracy in Nigeria at about 86%. That's with the electorate. And then with people in office, we put political illiteracy at about 67%. So the problem is not, so most of the time you see governors infringing, local government chairmen infringing on their jurisdictions of office, councillors the same. This is a country where you have constituency projects, which are not even constitutional. So, and I don't want to tell you how it goes into constituency projects. So the first thing I think which is key and critical is for us to improve political literacy. Second, I think the conversations we've always had, go and vote, is so, I don't know, 1433. You cannot, when you vote, okay, let me put it this way. In Nigeria, what we have is a selection, not an election. Because, like you said, they've done local government primaries, some parties. Did any of us participate? They'll just tell you A, B, and C are coming out. Then you have to select from that. That's not an election. You can only be, how do I put it, more responsible to an election if you participated at primaries level. And of course, I'm going through and walking through to see how you can hold the government accountable when it enters. So the Electoral College is not, Nigeria is not selling go and vote. We've asked people to be part of parties. We've trained over 14,000 actually. We hope to improve that expansively before our target is 60,000 for 2027. We are preaching the message of go and join the party. At least know what happens at the party level. When you start to get that, you start getting interested more in that office and how the office works. And then you now want to be a part of the system. So we want more people to be delegates because we feel the monsters come out when the delegates do their thing. Let's not talk about that now. But that's how we're trying to increase. And for me, I think political literacy is key, and having these kind of strong conversations. It's amazing that the average Nigerian does not know that how much he uses to spend, how much he or she spends in the club on Friday is enough to make them a counselor. But nobody wants to talk about that. Thank you, man.
Wow. Thank you so much for that. That's quite insightful. Please over to so what is your involvement or your partnership, or how is the local government involved in what you're doing at SEMICOLON, and how has that also helped in developing people at the grassroots level?
Thank you. It's a good question. And unfortunately, I have to say they're not. and I think I've actually been intending for some time to explore how we can engage at local government level more effectively. At SEMICOLON, so we set up as an organization. We're a social enterprise, meaning that we created the organization to drive impact, but but we set up as a private company because we felt it was more sustainable and more scalable. So we're just a business really running that's impact-minded. However, because of our ethos, our vision, and also some just personal experience, I used to be CEO of an organization called EFINA that promotes financial inclusion. So I still have a mindset around systems development. We actually do engage with government whenever they call us. So we, at the state, for several states, Lagos State, several other states, the commissioners for innovation, science, and technology have asked us to help them design and sometimes coordinate programs that will support talent development in their states, support innovation, support ventures. At the federal level as well, we volunteered to develop strategies around digital literacy, sit in committees, etc. So whenever we are called, we will willingly contribute to those conversations and partner. Unfortunately, we've not had engagement with the local government in that regard, which is something I'm very eager to do. I've actually just thinking, I've even had a little bit of engagement with the state, the federal legislature on youth, committee on youth and so forth. But local government is the one group we've never engaged. So that's something that I'm keen to do in two regards. Number one, I think that our mission should be aligned in terms of development of human capital across these LGAs. So however we can support that, we will do. Second, I also believe, to the points raised, that we, not only as citizens, but as businesses and as industry, play an important role in not only supporting government at all levels, but also holding government accountable. And I think that we can be better organized at industry level. Sometimes we, as companies, like to complain, but I think that we can become more proactive in supporting when we're called upon to volunteer or offering our help, but also making sure that we have a clear voice and coordinated voice, because it's also difficult for government. Government representatives can't necessarily identify and meet 1,000 different companies to understand what's happening, but if we have associations, if we have clear maybe policy papers, position papers, etc., we can also do some of the communication that Dr. Abbas spoke about in terms of making sure that government understands what are our pain points, what are our priorities, and then I think we should get clear commitments from our government representatives. We know that they're resource constrained, we know that they have challenges, but they can do something, and we need commitments about what they're going to do. And we need to monitor those commitments, and when they're not met, we need to ask why not, and how do we work together to make them happen. I will just close in saying that at all levels of government, but one thing that I would be happy to explore with any local government representatives or other partners here seated is we have a pool of innovators. We teach design thinking, which is a methodology for innovation and problem solving. And when we teach that, our curriculum is SDG focused. So eventually they'll go and maybe start businesses and come up with an app. But the first orientation that we really give young people around problem solving is solve these critical problems. How are you solving hunger? How are you driving gender equality? How are you ending poverty? How are you creating quality education? I would love to partner with government and put some young people on innovation challenges, right? And have them, first of all, even if it's just some of them won't go beyond project phase. Sometimes it will just be young people learning and creating an orientation toward, but some of them will become minimum viable products. Some of them we can incubate and grow and scale if there's capacity there. So I'll just leave that as an open offer to any partners here who might be interested. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. So I'd like to ask Mr. Tolani this final question. So you said you were able to locate the incoming, like you said, the elected candidate for the party, and you said to him, I know you and I will come for you. But I want to believe that you spoke either as or from the place of your office as a chairman of an association, or would you say that that is an approach that every average Nigerian living in any locality should have towards their councillors? And as a follow-up to that, if an average Nigerian needs to take an action right now or move the needle, what do you think that immediate step should be?
Well, the immediate thing is look for them, have a conversation with them. By that alone, they know all eyes are on us. This has worked over time. Yes, because I head an association and I've done a lot of work in the disability community. So government officials, once they see me, either I'm playing or something like, I know, what it was with last time, I will sort it out. I'm still on it. Yeah, it's because it's just 1, 2, 3 people talking. If a CDA, just CDA by CDA, like now you're contesting, come here. We're recording you. What and what are you going to do? We're going to give you 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. After 1 year, we're going to call you back here. Usually it's like, we don't really care, that is the way to go. It had worked for us at state level. It's been a bit difficult at the local government level. In fact, they are so, they will just tell you sometimes that, do you think this is state government because of what you achieved at the at state level? This is local government, this belongs to us, and this is how we run it here. Now, elections are coming, and we've told some of them, it's like harvest time. All the fruits are going to drop. Once you campaign, most especially those coming for second term, in the area that concerns us, persons with disability, accessibility, inclusion in local government, we are going to engage you. We're going to give you back to back. Yes, there are many. We're going to find time for them. Because they're going to come on social media, they're going to come in their neighborhoods, and that is just the way to go. The moment you come out, we face you. And I believe, yes, it's not something we can all do at once. Just like you said, people need to be educated and all that. But in the bits we've been able to do, we've achieved quite, we've achieved so much at the state level. But at the local government level, that is closest to the people, we're talking to the keke riders, we are talking to the artisans, we are talking to the market women, and these are people who are mostly affected, who would give you feedbacks. So if you enlighten them and tell, because sometimes when you do these things, they are the ones who will tell you, why are you warning these people? Leave them, let them steal what they want to steal, just leave it and all that. So we need to enlighten them that, look, this thing affects you more than me. And that's why we not just using the media space now. Yeah, TV, radio, we've done all that, social media, no. A one-on-one conversation. We are not arguing now. We're just putting it out there. I really don't talk too much about what happens in Abuja. I'm talking about what happens in my neighborhood. I want to know why the street I live on for the past 30 years has not been tapped. And the guy is telling me, you're going to do it now. You're like, oh, really? What's the budget coming? Because you're coming in this year, what's the budget for this year? You don't even know. You're like, well, I will find out. You? So these are the kind of things that you just find out, oh, this guy is even contesting for office. The budget for the local government for this president here doesn't even have an idea. The budget for works, the budget for different things, doesn't have an idea. So it's not to put anybody down, it's to keep having this conversation and really put them to task. That's just what we intend to do.
All right, please a round of applause for Mr. Tolani Ojuri. And at this point, I would like to bring this to a close. So please put your hands together for Ms. Ashley Immanuel, the CEO of SEMICOLON. Please let me also appreciate Mr. Kunle Lawal, the ED of the Electoral College Nigeria, as well as the chairman of Albinism Association, Lagos State Chapter. And on that note, we truly want to say thank you for coming, thank you for being here with us, and thank you for sharing your wealth of knowledge and providing solutions. Please a round of applause for them as they all step up. Thank you.